I've got a bit of a personal experience actually with a medium, and if I tell you the story, much what I can remember, it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts on it and how this person did it.
Okay.
So I used to work in a bowling alley. We talked about this before, Cats. I went there for 10, 11, 12 years in total. And every weekend we'd have a DJ. So I think I'm about 20 or 21, maybe 22 at this point. My grandfather died when I was just before I was 13. And he, it's fine. He was almost my father as well as my grandfather. So my mum and my dad separated when I was only 2. My mum moved in with her dad, my granddad, and he kind of brought me up till I was about 8, and my mum remarried and we moved in with him. So it was kind of a double loss for me at the time because he was grandfather and father. And I always had a really strong relationship with him. And I was only 12 when he died. But this DJ that came in this night, he did psychic medium stuff on the side. So after the shift, it was about 12:30, a few of us kind of learned that he was a medium, and we went to him and said, could you give us a reading? And he said to each of us, right, if you want a reading, go and get something that's personal to you that you've had for a long time, hold it in your hand, and then we'll do the reading. Now, I didn't have anything. So, this is interesting. I borrowed an armband off someone else. So it wasn't even mine, right? So this is all part of it, because obviously he wanted to, I guess, create an illusion that he's tapping into my history or past or whatever. So I went over to this guy, and he figured out that I told him it was my granddad, so he knew it was a granddad type relative. He guessed that something about an RAF book that he'd given me when I was a kid. He did give me a book on aeroplanes. It wasn't an RAF one, and he guessed that he was in the army. But I thought I was at the age where my grandfather would have been in World War II. It's quite obvious. Then he went on to a few other little bits and pieces, not major hits, but you lived with him for a time, blah, 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 blah. And then at the end, he was saying, this is the only time that he's ever going to be able to get through to you. And he just wants to say, he's really proud of you and all this and all that. And then that was kind of it. But it was at the time when I was so young, it was the link to it could have been a coincidence and a lucky hit. It was the link to the airplane book. And he said that he'd give me an RAF book. So what do you think?
It sounds very specific.
Yeah, it does.
When you put it like that, but
I could be misremembering.
The same way he could have guessed that your grandfather had been in the military, and these were things that were happening at those times.
Yeah.
The fact that you wanted to connect with him, that means that he meant a lot to you. Grandfathers offer gifts.
Yeah.
Mostly, generally, this is all generally speaking. Sure. We'll always find a case where that's not the case, but in this particular connection, I think it was just very obvious to him that you had a good relationship with your grandfather, and what gifts would someone from the military give his grandson?
Sure.
I think he kind of extrapolated from that. He went in that direction. Perhaps it was a lucky guess. Another theory, and which is much more scientific, goes back to Carl Gustav Jung's theory about the collective subconscious. It's a psychological theory which states that certain archetypes and information are located in a deep pool that can be accessed in certain key moments by anyone on the globe.
Wow, okay.
Carl Gustav Jung, he used this explanation when he interpreted dreams, like how a man from London that struggles with an inner conflict can dream of a symbol he has never seen before, but which has great significance to a tribe in Africa, for example. And upon waking up, he can look for the significance of the symbol. And according to Jung, that might provide the solution or guidance that solves his inner conflict. So this connection at a very deep psychological, scientifically proven level is perhaps a little glint of the engine that drives mediums and their readings. So perhaps he basically connected to you on a subconscious level in a way and
That's
got that
interesting.
information from there.
Yeah, I could be, like I say, I could be misremembering. He might have said a book on tanks or planes or whatever, and I said it was an RAF book. So he could have generalised it. It was a long time ago now. We're talking 15 odd years ago. So it's very difficult to remember all the details. But
It's the same I did with cats when I asked him, please tell me more about your time at the high school. And he said, oh, it was a great period. Okay, so that's a clue that it had ended. He moved on from there. He's not there anymore. You know, you connect strings that are easy to connect.
Perfect. You did it. You absolutely did it. What do you think, Katz? You make a
very
great
impressed.
medium. Yeah.